All right. Thank you for this. Happy to finish this off before Anthony comes. So I come from Visit Reykjanes, and I'm partner with the Reykjanes Geopark, which is going to be most of my talk today. The Reykjanes Peninsula is the southwestern peninsula. It's consists of the 5 municipalities of Grindavík, Garður, Sandgerði, or Reykjanesbær. The size it's rather small compared to other regions in Iceland, but we do have over 22,000 inhabitants in the area, 6 towns or villages, and a lot of traffic, as we do have the Catholic International Airport and one of the main attractions, the Blue Lagoon. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is the projects that have been the region has been working on and are probably connected to the DMP when we go into that work. We have a regional development plan or like a master plan for the region that all the municipalities have worked on. The Reykjanes Geopark is a destination plan as well when you go into development of the sites and so on. We've done like a basic marketing strategy that we need to update. We are working on an infrastructure analysis, and we've been running a program about regional awareness, kind of identity of the community that hopefully I'll be able to tell you a little bit about. But the master plan is probably our groundwork, and all these plans are about building opportunities for the communities and for the companies. It's just the groundwork of what we do. But they started working on this in 2008, on the master plan, that is, and it was opened or published in 2012 after getting some extra work done. But as I'm told, that it took them almost 1 year, 1.5 years, just to break the ice between the communities. I mean, they had a meeting, and each one of them was just crossing their hands, not giving up any secrets, and you know, it's going to take some time to get the communication starting and flowing. But it worked out, and from this master plan, we have the Geopark projects. It's the master plan takes part in joint joint decisions about industrial areas. Where do we want to build up industries? Where do we want to build up our tourism sites? How do we want to work with our resources, geothermal energy and fresh water, the environment, and of course, how does it work for the community and their goodwill. The plan is going until 2024, and maybe we will have to update it after we've done the GMP plan, because of course the tourism wasn't that big of a industry at that time. But the Reykjanes Geopark project started in 2011 after they had been working on the master plan. And it's a regional plan, like Snæfellsgarður. It sounds like a lot of the plans that have already been going on all around Iceland, but has a different name on it. But now we are a UNESCO geopark, so we are under some surveillance on everything we do, and we have to we send out reports, and we are evaluated every 4 years. So the program started in 2011. They hired the manager in 2012. It's a cooperation between municipalities, tourism companies, educational organizations, and others that have been working on this with us. We got accepted into the global network in September 2015, and at the end of that year, the global UNESCO geoparks became a UNESCO geoparks. So the rules and regulations or the platform was a little bigger a few months after. Now, to become a geopark, we have to have something unique, geologically wise, something no one else in the world can tell you about. Being a geopark, you're part of a bigger family, and geoparks are trying to build up a storyline about the existence of the Earth. And what we have is that, and now after we become part of the family, we are obligated to tell the story about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and how the tectonic plates work in a very compact area or small area. That's the first thing, but you cannot become a geopark if there's not people living there. So part of it is also telling you about how it is to live there and how the community has developed. Now, these are the 4 essentials for the geopark. It is a bottom-up approach, so everything that we've done with the geopark project has been worked from the community. It's the structure or the decisions that are made are on a municipality level. So instead of having rules and regulations or on like a national park, the municipalities are the decision makers, and the geopark is running projects for the municipalities. Now, what the main project of the geopark is, it is a development plan for the region. They've made a structure of building up sites. They've set priorities on these sites. Which areas we want to be more accessible, and which ones should be less accessible. I have a map of them, probably on the next slide. One of the biggest, probably, what happened with the geopark is that all the municipalities are working together on a holistic approach on tourism development in the area. One of them is that they established a fund for building up tourism sites. So today, the funding that each municipality is setting into building up sites now goes into geopark. The geopark is then providing the 20% needed to apply for bigger grants from the Gas and Tourism Board. And with that, they were able to build up bigger sites, doing bigger projects, and so on. It's about education, and with the educational information we give out, like has been told before, that we don't want to put up some signs or big rules and regulation on what not to do, but by educating them and giving information on the importance of the place and what we are and how we want to do it, but get people to think differently, and they think twice before throwing trash out of the car. They rather want to throw it in the trash bin. It's about sustainability, project development, about building opportunity for the companies restaurants and so on. We have a project called GeoFood for local food that is being built up. Research about the tourism numbers we were talking about earlier today. We have in 2010 there was a questionnaire that went around and where people were going and so on. It told us that around 200,000 were visiting the Reykjanes lighthouse. We did a first time last year. We started counting cars, and in two places, Garðskáli and Reykjanes City. That showed us that last year 87,000 were visiting the Reykjanes lighthouse, 167,000 Garðskáli. So that showed us that maybe the numbers before were wrong, and people were mixing up, just talking about Reykjanes lighthouse, could be any lighthouse in Reykjanes. So we needed, now we're working on restructuring, what we're asking for. So, and yeah, like I said before, we are being evaluated. These are our new logos for the area, which we can actually, all the companies can now work with this logo here, and all the organizations that are not working in profit or for profit, they can use the UNESCO logo. And today we are signing our first contract between a company and the geopark on using the logo. So these are the, we mapped out 55 sites that we want to build up as tourism sites. And like I said before, they have different approaches. We have, and these are the areas of interest, like holistic areas we want to develop. It's the tip of Reykjanes or Garðskáli, and the oldest part, geologically wise, of Reykjanes Peninsula. It's the tip of Reykjanes where actually the mid-Atlantic ridge comes ashore. And you can see how the tectonic plates are drifting apart. So we have like symbolic information panels about the symbolic grids and so on. It's the Blue Lagoon and the geothermal area, and then the highlands. So part of it being a geopark, we want to build up a new tourist road or a less traveled road of interest. The dots show places we're working on, and I'm going to give you some examples of the information panels. It's all the municipalities have agreed on the design of the panels, and then we of course try to help our guests to make their own stories and share them with us. So with working together with Visit Reykjanes and the Geopark, we are working on, for example, hashtag Reykjanes, and we can kind of follow what people are doing and where they're traveling and what their interest is. What do they think is interesting about our area? We work with the municipalities on planning geosites. So this is the tip of Reykjanes, next to Reykjanes Lighthouse. As one example of a popular geosite, where we are actually moving the old parking place further away from the geosite itself. But for instance, for this place, the old road is going to be part of accessible for everyone, wheelchairs and so on. But at the same time we are working on developing a site where we can build some infrastructure or service. Geopark is not going into that itself, but we are building opportunities for investors and so on to come along with us. So we have an investor that is joining us in this project, and then it's part of their planning. Another geosite that has been we've been working on is Vinnustofa, one of the geothermal areas. We do have two platforms, on this one and here. They are actually in different municipalities, so we have Reykjanes on this side and Grindavík on this side. And this is one of the sites that is probably easiest to see how this can work together, where municipalities are talking together and building up the sites. And we are also trying here to move the parking places further away and building up some hiking trails. New geosites to be able to control the guests where they're going and try to show them more, and at the same time there are less people in each side. At this place we are we have a debate on how much we should do at each side, how we don't want to ruin the natural or the harshness of the area, what people they want to walk on the rocks and so on. So there's only going to be one one platform and pathway that leads to it, but there are two other sites that you can actually go and walk on the rocks if you really want to. And the platform, it's a big operation, and actually we had to. The door is coming from Norway because there was no Icelandic company that could work on it. But hopefully we'll be able to show you some. You'll see it this spring, up and running. Hiking paths are 230 kilometers, so we have made a hiking map. We're also working on a birding map and mapping all the hiking trails with Google Street View for educational purpose. Now the marketing strategy, we started in, I was hired in 2030, early year. And this is, it's the same cooperation between these, between tourism companies, municipalities, and the geopark, as well as being manager for Visit Reykjanes. I'm the marketing manager for the geopark. We're working on the same area, and that's how we can cooperate with these two projects. We set some focus in 2013. It's an area less developed than others in Iceland when you go into the marketing part. We had the challenge of being, for the tourism companies, being airport hotel or drive-through. It was a one-stop shop, first night or the last night of the tour, but our challenge was to increase the overnight stay and for the hotels and guest houses, and with that building opportunities to do something in the area. We did ask 40 to 50 people to join us in this marketing platform. We didn't go very deep into it, so that is part of the DMP that we want to do better this time around. But these 5 points is something that we have been held up in everything we do. It's the earth and energy. It's our strength. That is the geopod. The ocean and the coastline is very accessible, and interesting stories that follow that. The people, the history, and the culture. We did have the Navy and the Army, the U.S. Army, in the area. It's a rich fishing tradition and rich culture and so on. So that's something we need to highlight. Health and wellness. The Blue Lagoon is a big part of that, and there's a lot of the sports are a big identity of the area, so it's something they can relate to. And then, of course, we have the international airport and the closeness to the capital area that gives us some advantage. Now, we have been mapping the area for tourism. We know how many tourism companies are in the area. We know what they can do, and with that, we can work on our work further to develop our projects and products. There are over 200 companies registered in the Icelandic tourism database, but we do have problems that they don't go in there automatically. So we have 90 hotels and guest houses. They increased by 20 last year. We have 60 restaurants, but around only 15 of them are in the database, for example, because they don't look at themselves as tourism operators in tourism. So that's something we are working on. Like I say, it's various types and levels and of services and sizes. For example, of those 90 registered hotels and guest houses, there are only around 15 hotels, 10 rooms or more. So most of the others are homestay or guest houses, smaller units. But I just added the last point. It's a lot of increase, 95% from January this year, from January last year and January this year. So it's something that well, you must be doing something right. But I really would like to look further into it. But it's we had just in 2015 we had an increase in overnight stays for the whole year, 25%. And as just roughly counting that up, it gave the area or it left over 3 million. Yeah, just the increase. So it's just increasing the overnight stay by 1, and every person is maybe leaving 30,000 each day. So it's an opportunity for a lot of companies in the area. If we increase the overnight stay, they will do something else. So this is our newest program that is running, and we have we have the tourism to thank for it. Actually, we have the Reykjanes Peninsula has been very lower self-esteem. If you talk to people, they ask me why I'm working there. Why did I move there? It's the ugliest place in Iceland. The people are so boring. There's unemployment is up the roof, and well, it's a lot of myth talking. So we had the U.S. Navy. They left us in 2006. We had the financial crisis in 2007-08. The unemployment rate went up to 14.9%. There was a lot of negative things going on. But since then, a lot of things have changed. And in 2015, In 2014, we were down to 7% in unemployment. Last year, we were down to 1.5%. And in 2015, we did a research, because the companies were calling for it. They weren't getting any people to work there. People were not moving into the area, and we were trying to figure out what it was. And with the research, we saw that, it's all that myth talking. It's a bad place and everything. But in reality, we are one of the highest. We have one of the highest pay in all the regions. There's a lot of work to have. The children love it. Their families don't want to move away, and so on. So we started to build on that, and with the companies, we started this program with a lot of PR work and advertising in social media and so on. Just telling them stories of people in the area. For example, Halla was one of our talkers. She doesn't want to live anywhere else. She's built up a company. She's in the restaurant business. Her husband travels to Reykjanes every day. Children are in sports and music and doing a lot of stuff, and everybody's. You should look at the videos. It checks all the emotional checkboxes for advertising, and we sent in around over 100 articles about positive news of the area. The research or the questionnaire we sent out in end of 2016 showed that, well, we did increase our positivity by 4% from 64 up to 68. But compared to other regions, everyone is above 80, just so you know. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. But at the same time, 30% of the people that we asked were less negative towards the area. So that's also a positive thing. So in 2017, they're still working on this project, and it's only within Iceland. We're just trying to increase the positiveness towards the area within the Icelandic community. We need people to work there. I don't know if you noticed, Isavia has been advertising a lot. We need 1,000 people working at the airport for every million passengers. And even with our 22,000 people, we don't have that amount of employees. And the Blue Lagoon is increasing their staff numbers by 165 this year. So it's there's a lot of challenges, and it has changed rapidly throughout the last 3 years. The geopark has taken this into account as well, and when we introduced this to the Norwegian geoparks, this project, they say that it's the essential of the geoparks. It's building up the identity of the areas and developing it from within. Making people proud of where they come from. So this is what we are doing with the DMP project. We have a steering committee, which is the board of Reykjanes Geopark, board of Visit Reykjanes, board of Heklan. It sounds like a lot of people, but the board of Visit Reykjanes and Heklan is the same board, and together it's 12 persons. And that's all the municipalities have one representative. The tourism has two, and the association for Reykjanes Industries has one. Development agency of Catholic Airport has one. So it's a lot of stakeholders that take part. The Geopark and Visit Reykjanes are running handling the project management, and we are working this week on the working group. And next week is a workshop in Reykjanes where we're kind of starting the program. We do think we have a lot of material already to work within the CMP, but we need to go through all the things I've been talking about and match it to the project and see where we are, what we're leaving behind or what we need to update and so on. So we will be kind of hand in hand with other regions on what needs to be done. Yeah, so I think that's it for me. Are you going to be project manager of the Yeah. We just so the project will not stop when someone gets sick. We thought that because we're working together today a lot, and we do know a lot of the things that are going on. We run it together, but we want to keep it like that, even though one of us is kind of maybe the lead partner in it. And I have a question because it looks like you have been spending a lot of money on projects and things. How do you fund all this? Well, all these projects, well, it's gonna, let's go through it again. No, no these, for example, the Reykjanes Geopark project has been funded by Aradóttir.
Regional Development Fund?
Yeah, the Regional Development Fund, because it's a very holistic approach on like education and information, developing of the site. So, and it's very project verkefnadrifið. Yeah, it's very oriented around all the projects that it's running. So it has. Luckily, we've been able to fund it through this funding. The manager of the geopark is an employee of the Regional Development Agency. So that saves the geopark a lot of money, but the geopark is running all the projects. So all the funding that goes into the development of the sites goes through the geopark. It's very simple when you kind of get into it, but it's we are lucky that the municipalities are working together on this, and we can fund the project management through other channels.
I just want to say that I think that you have done a great job in funding Reykjanes. For instance, I never ever visited unless I was going abroad. But in the recent couple of 2 or 3 years, I have seen going there hiking, taking a stroll by the coastline, and enjoying things that are there. And I just want to congratulate you because it has been a life of the area has so much to offer, and I think attracting more people. Everyone is like hiking at the moment. So I
Well, it's probably being less known as a tourism destination within Iceland has been an opportunity for us just to be able to build up the sites we want to get visitors to. I mean, it's a very sensitive area for environmentally, and we've noticed this winter had no winter in a way. It's been pressure point for the environment. So we really need to hear in a way where people are going. So it's been an opportunity for us, and hopefully we will be able to do it well and do it better. But like they have already talked about that, we just need people working on these projects. For example, the building of the site, it takes time, it takes effort, and if we don't get people working on the project, it has to wait longer. And we are pressured by the funding of the site, and it's pressured of us finishing the programs, but it's, we don't finish them, we don't get the funding, but we don't get the people and to spend the money. So it's a pressure point as well. We have the money, but we can't spend it because we don't get people working on it. So it's a luxury problem probably.
Can I ask, because I hear you're starting your first contracts with companies, and you've already used your logo with 2 people.
Yeah.
We have in our contract, we have a guideline of the usage of the nature.
Yeah.
Do you have this as well?
Yeah, it's we followed your contract, but what we do have, part of the contract says like if you want to use a logo, you have to treat the nature with respect, and you're part of Vakin or you're part of some kind of.
So you expect
we kind of
higher than
we push it gently towards them. Yeah. We want them to be part of some kind of environmental svanering, for example. I mean, if you are working on a project that is a quality label, we are not going to make a new one. You know, it's we want to just, if you're following some kind of guidelines, that's a positive thing, and we are following up on it. You know, how we use the logo. So.
Because I got a question regarding bikes, and I know they have been in our geopark as well, and I've heard they go all along the south coast and up along the Markafjord, which is internationally important breeding ground for birds within our area. So personally, to me, thinking about quad bikes, it's a risky sort of thing. So have you put any?
Well, we are working actually with the quad bike company in Grindavík, and they are in a grey area probably in some places.
But we possibly have to address this.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're also putting a lot of money and work into building up sites, and they want to work with the community. You know, they have worked with the horseman community. You know. Where can they be, so that they're not getting these conflicts, and they are building up the roads as well for the horsemen to ride on. So this
is done with the municipality, so they stay to the streets.
Okay. And of course it's in their interest to have a positive feedback with the others, and if something comes up, it is addressed. I mean, they have to work with.
They also have conflicts with landowners within our area. They're going over areas which the farmers are not happy.
I mean, I think it's part of our just culture. We're used to being able to, as an individual, just kind of go everywhere the farmers and everything. But as soon as you're coming with 15 others, that's different.
Do you think the geopark will actually address these problems in the future? Will it have some authority through the?
We have to be able to. I mean, we want to build up the brand. I mean, the logo. We want the companies to use the logo, but it's never going to be as strong as the weakest link. I mean, the companies have to work with us to make the brand worth something. And if they are breaking their promises, they are breaking our promises as well. So it's in our interest to do that. And like the site, I mean, we have the Caliph, the most popular hiking trail in Reykjanes. We have a natural buffer of accessibility to the mountain, and that's a road. And we can't build up the road because it's private, and the landowner doesn't want to build it up. He doesn't want people to go there, and that's just, I mean, that's something. Well, I'm not advertising that mountain in my for Visit Reykjanes. I have pictures of it, but
it's very nice hike actually.
Yeah, I mean, but I can't promote it because people don't want people there.
Right.
I mean, so it's while that is, we are addressing this obstacle, problem, opportunity. We are addressing it with the municipality, talking with the landowners and so on. But it's going to take some time, and when they give us the green light, we are doing something about it. But until then, we just have to sit and wait. It's the same with the tip of Reykjanes, the car parking there. It's a landowner's area. We are renting the area of the land for visitors to visit. So we have all kinds of things that we are trying to work with. Finding solutions is our motto.